Hello, good evening, and welcome to Off Track Small Talk. Tonight, I'm going to be chatting to a driver who is debuting a brand new tarmac car this coming weekend at Skegness. That individual is 526 Finn Sargent. Good evening, Finn.
Hi.
It's a quick turnaround. So, in from travelling to home, fish and chip supper, interview with Jonathan. Are you good?
Yeah, I got home about 15 minutes ago, and I finished work at 5, so that was great.
Yeah. You're not giving yourself indigestion though. That's not what's happened. We're okay.
No, and I didn't get done for speeding on the way home either, so it's even better.
Perfect. It's a win-win all round. Right, so before I do these interviews, I always drop Nigel Anderson a message and go, send me some facts and figures, just so I kind of got it in my head. And the most interesting one was that you have done 124 meetings to date, which is the race number of your best friend, Carl Graham.
Yeah, I didn't know that, and I'm not sure how I feel about that. It doesn't feel like I've done 124 meetings. I don't think my results look like I've done 124 meetings, but yeah, I'm pleased when Skeg comes around. I might just race Saturday and retire, so I don't finish on 124.
Yeah. But it's very nice. It's a very nice way to start chatting to you. So I just thought I'd throw that in there and throw you off with a bit of a curveball. Anyway, right, in terms of Formula One, you did debut 2018 following in a career in mini stocks. Was the plan always to come into Formula One?
Not really. When I was younger, I had to go in the junior F2s in Holland. I quite like them. Did all right over there when I was about 12, and then went back again when I was 14 and enjoyed it, but didn't really do enough of them to say, oh, I wanted an F2. Kind of thought about V8s and stuff, but then as I got older, it wasn't a case of me saying I wanted an F1. It was Dad saying, you're having an F1 or you're not racing, because I'm not carrying two loads of spares around again. So it's up to you.
Yeah. So do you think if you'd either stuck at Formula 2, because obviously he moved into Formula 1 4 or 5 years prior to your debut, do you think you'd have probably gone down the Formula 2 route just for ease?
Yeah, if Dad was in F2, it was always going to be a case of whatever Dad had, I kind of would have followed. We did have an F2 here when we started F1 still, but it would. I was interested in it when I was a kid, and then obviously Dad had the F1, and I was never mega interested in it until I was about 15, 14. Yeah. But after then, I was kind of quite keen on it, got more involved with what he was doing and trying to learn a bit about it, and kind of paid off a little bit, really.
Yeah. So 2018 was quite impressive. You took your first final win at Skegness that year. So a great start to Formula One.
Yeah. It wasn't such a great meeting. If I remember, your Dad did dock me. He did dock me 2 places that day. I wasn't his best mate that week. He did see me the week after and did apologise and gave me my win back. So I was very thankful for that. I haven't let him forget it either, actually.
No, it's 5 years ago, isn't it? 5 years ago, we've moved on, maybe.
Yeah. No, I didn't even think about that until you mentioned it, but no. Me and Dad got past it now. I abuse him for other things.
Yeah, good. So 2018, like I said, good start. But 2021 on paper was probably your best season. 3 final wins, and you made the shootout. The race for the silver wreath. Would you kind of go, yeah, absolutely, that was the season for me so far?
Yeah, that was definitely my best season. I think when I look back at it, I kind of look back at it of what could have been as well. At the start of the year, I was terrible. I had a brand new car and I was absolutely terrible. There's nothing wrong with the car. I just wasn't good enough in it. And then eventually, I think one Northampton meeting, I just kind of went there and managed to pluck out some results. I got like an 8th in my heat, which wasn't special. And then I think I was winning the final till the last bend and I got took out. But I should have won that final, really. It's just a bit of an experience on my part. But after then, it kind of picked up. I had a couple of good results. But no, there's a few races in that season that I should have done a lot better in. But just, I hadn't really been racing as long as everybody else had been around, and I made a few mistakes, but you learn from them.
Is it confidence? We talk a lot about confidence in stock cars. James Morris, he became, he's been racing for ages, but actually I've become a bit more confident in the car, and so then that breeds with its success. Is that the similar sort of thing, would you say, for yourself?
Yeah, I think earlier on when I was younger, because I was obviously been such a stock car mad fan since I was a kid, you kind of, not a bit daunting, but almost you kind of don't realize that you're racing with people and that are actually just normal people. You get a little bit overwhelmed by it, and then as I got older, you kind of you see them in the pits. They're just other drivers.
Yeah,
you don't really see them as like the driver that you're thinking of, if you know what I mean. But you just see them as the people that you race with. But yeah, I think definitely after a couple of good results, I had a bit more confidence, and it kind of flowed from week to week.
Yeah. But you do, we put these people on pedestals, don't we? We put stock car drivers up there, and these are lots of people's heroes. And actually, you're just normal people, as we discover when we do these interviews. But, you know, from an outside looking in, they aren't. They're heroes to people.
Yeah, everybody's pretty normal. I mean, I'd never expected it a few years ago, but I stood in a kebab shop with talking to John Lund. I'd have been like absolutely starstruck when I was about 15, but now I've raced with him a few times. It's just John, but it still does make you starstruck a little bit, John.
Yeah, it does. It does. So, you know, sort of mentioning that, and you're in the shootout, like we've said. Do you think that came a bit too soon in your career, or were you happy to be in the shootout that year? Because it is a very different kettle of fish, isn't it, once you're starting back there and racing with those guys week in, week out?
Yeah, I'd say probably at the wrong point in my life to be in the shootout. I mean, I obviously work away 5 days a week, so I get Friday night from about 8:30 onwards, Saturday morning, and then Sunday after a meeting, if I do come home after the meeting on the car. I just said that I think I was quick enough to run in the shootout and run competitively, but I think we did 37 meetings or something that year. I'd never done that many meetings in an F1, and we didn't have enough time to maintain the cars as good enough to run in the shootout where we needed to be. And obviously the shootout's expensive if you want to be there every week. So the top lads are putting new tyres on because they want to win, which is fair enough. You got to do that. But we never really looked at winning the shootout. It was never realistic. So we just thought I'll just go and enjoy it. But you could see the weeks where I wasn't anywhere near. But there's a few weeks where I was quite close. I think I nearly in one of the Grand Nationals at the Skegness weekend, I nearly won the Grand National. I was second behind Ryan on the restart, and I pulled my gear knob off my hand. But, yeah, that was I did have a little bit of a paddy after that.
Yeah. Okay, so 2021 was good, and lots of learnings and a real kind of benchmark, I suppose. So 2022 was the flip of that. It wasn't a great season. So, like, have you kind of reflected and gone, why? You know, do you understand it?
Yeah, I started building a new car over 2021 and then didn't touch any of my cars.
Okay.
There's a mix of things really looking back at it. After doing 35 meetings and not having enough time on the cars, they were pretty wore out. So we were just doing like the routine checks that we would do. But obviously with doing that, I've also got less time building a car. The cars went into 2022. The shell car was identical, exactly the same engine, same everything. But there's just a couple like problems like damage that we've not found, which you should have found, and things like that, and things got wore out quicker. The tarmac car, we changed the shockers on. I got them sorted out and set up at the first meeting, but I think throughout the whole of 2022, I never kept the same set of shockers on that car for more than 3 meetings, and that was really hard to like get set up back where you were, and you like every week on the scales and things like that, and you think that's where it needs to be, and that's not where it needs to be, and it doesn't work.
Yeah.
But just not enough time, really. It's still the case now, but we're not racing so much.
Yeah.
So we're taking a cut back just so that we can do quality, not quantity, if we can. I mean, this year's been quality already, but we're not doing less meetings, so it's not as upsetting.
Yeah, but you're right though, and I suppose you turn up to a stock car meeting, and at best you've got 4 races, haven't you? You know, if you're doing heat, consolation, final, national, at best. So you kind of need to be going out there in race 1, and it needs to be right because you haven't got the time, have you, to figure it out?
Yeah, if you mess up heat 1 or whatever, something goes wrong, you fix it for the consolation if you're lucky to get one. If something else goes wrong because you're not ready, then that's meeting final over. Then you get in the Grand National, it's like 38, 40 cars sometimes, and to win one of them, you need a bit of a miracle or just be ridiculously quick.
Yeah. Okay. And just before we move on to new car, my observation would be that tarmac is probably your preferred surface. Is that fair? You had your most success on tarmac.
I would say at the moment, I think I used to say tarmac all the time, yeah, but now I've got settled into my shale car a bit more. I think I've enjoyed shale a lot more recently.
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like I prefer shale as just I get on with the car at the minute. The car's really good. Matt did a great job of doing that one. And then tarmac, I've always been happy with it, but I've always wanted to. I've never been outright the fastest car on tarmac. I've been there like top 5, but sometimes on shale, I think at Northampton in like a couple of years ago, it used to be like up there with the top 2 fastest.
Yeah.
But obviously lap times don't win your races, so it doesn't really mean anything. But it's a little win personally.
Yeah, no, of course. So, right, let's talk new tarmac car. So, at a time, I guess, when a lot of drivers are going down the route of going to recognised car builders, you've gone down the route of having a self-built car. You've done this yourself. So, talk us through it, Finn, because it needs to be told, the story.
So back end of 2021, when I was good for a bit, a bloke called Ivan from ICB Motorsport. He built a few F2s and done quite a few parts for F2s and things like that. We'd known him from a couple of years ago, and obviously Dad had known him from F2s a little bit. He had his lad had to go in an F1, and he mentioned that he wanted to get into F1s. And he spoke to me about, so we had a couple of problems with back axles in 2021, diffs and things like that. He mentioned to me about building an axle, an upgraded axle like the other guys use, for a bit more reliability. And then from that, I said I didn't want to do it during mid-season in case anything went wrong with the shootout. So that got pushed off to the end of the year, and we decided about building a car together. Originally, his lad was going to be the first one, I think, and then it kind of swapped like early on, and I was going to have the first one. That got carried on up until about a week before the season started, and we kind of found out it wasn't realistic. It wasn't going to be ready for 2022.
Yeah.
So I would do a bit on it. I would basically spend every weekend all winter over there through winter 2021, and then weeks off work. Didn't get finished in time, and their work picked up, so they couldn't work on it for me in the week like planned.
Yeah.
But I spoke to him, and we agreed that I'd bring the car back home and finish it off. That was like the only way it was going to work.
Yeah.
So I picked the car back up around August last year, I think, and it's now just finished. But obviously, working away from home, I've not been able to do absolutely everything on it. So it's kind of a self-build-ish, but like not-ish. Some bits of it are me, and then some bits of it aren't. Yeah,
you explained that very well, Finn.
Yeah, it's just a big, long story, and there's like loads of changes. I don't really know where it's gone, but I've ended up with a stock car at the end of it. So,
and a very beautiful stock car, which we'll see in a minute. So you mentioned gentleman Ivan. I think did he kind of go right? You finish it, and that sort of his involvement stopped there. Was that how it works?
So he was dead supportive from the start. He was very lucky to like get part with him, and yeah, he just basically was too busy. And we agreed that I would finish it off at home. It was the most logical way of doing it. So that's where we are now.
Yeah. So other than yourself, has it just been you working on the car, or who's been involved?
No, there's been quite a few people involved. So HCD, they did the cab plates and the roof for me because I just spent around 2-3 days doing it. I just didn't have the time. So they did that for me. The lads who help us week in, week out, they've been doing bits and bobs on it for me. I can't thank Steve and his dad who on the side of the car and S Motors enough. They've did all the wiring for me. A lot of the plumbing and things like that. Just jobs I can't do when I'm away.
Yeah.
And I did the bulk of the fabrication work, and where suspension goes, it's all based off my measurements and what I wanted.
Okay. So when you started way back when, with the car, did you have a design in mind, or did it evolve over time, or was there a blueprint that you kind of worked towards?
Yeah, I had an idea of what I wanted. I knew how my car weighed now and where I thought that I could improve it or where it needed something else. It's not a mile away from the time my car had, but it also can be. I've got a bit more option with this, and I can change it about a little bit more. But no, the blueprint's kind of still the same. Bits have changed now and again, but it's similar-ish.
Yeah. Okay. Good. I think we've built it up quite nicely. So Finn, it's over to you.
So this is my new tarmac car for the 2023 season. I hope you all like it.
Finn, the car looks absolutely stunning. It's low, it's wide, it's mean, you know, but there's an absolute attention to detail that's gone into this stock car. It looks, from a very kind of naive individual, very well thought out.
Yeah, I wouldn't say it was completely well thought out. There's been a few changes here and there. I haven't actually driven it or sat in it yet, and today's Wednesday and we're racing on Saturday, so it could all go really wrong.
Yeah.
Hopefully not.
Have you moved it though? You've moved it because you moved it for the picture. Have you driven? No.
I sat in it while they pushed it down the road. That was the first real time I've actually sat in it since I've finished it-ish. That wasn't finished then. It still isn't now. But it will be finished for Saturday, and I will have driven it by then, hopefully.
Good. Do you know when they were pushing down the road in it, did you make like some stock car noises just to kind of pretend?
No, I did say that was the fastest it would ever go, though.
Good. Right, I think it looks amazing. So when you were building it, at what point did you? Because you think it looks amazing, I'm sure you do. And at what point did you stand back and go, "Yeah, this is good"?
The whole time I was doing it, I panelled a lot of it when Dad wasn't there. So Malk, a lot of thanks to him for helping me with it. He's been there quite a lot of the time, and he was there when I did quite a bit of the panelling. So I was constantly asking other people's opinions because I was like, "Oh, I think that looks cool," but you don't want it to be weird. I didn't want to go too. I wanted a nice normal car, but with a few differences. But no, I think when we pushed out for the pictures, I was quite happy with it. I don't normally praise myself on a lot of what I've done with it, but I was quite happy when I pushed it out. I thought I'd done an all right job. Yeah,
I think you absolutely should take credit because, like I said when a while ago, that quite a lot of people go to the likes of Matt, Ryan, Tom to have cars, whereas you've kind of gone, do you know what, I'm going to do this one pretty much myself, and I think, you know, all credit to you.
Yeah, we've obviously had cars built by Matt pretty much since we've started in F1s, and I can see why people go to them now. I knew they weren't the easiest thing to build, but I appreciate like the time and the thought in lots of little bits, and see how like easy it is to forget pieces of it. It's like a massive jigsaw puzzle. It's like getting a big IKEA furniture set actually and not having any instructions, and you've got to find all the parts.
I like that analogy. That's very good. Good.
Yeah. It's dearer than IKEA as well, I can tell you that.
So we're gonna go testing. It's Wednesday night now, so hopefully this week, and then debut at Skegness Saturday. So
Yes.
thinking about sort of Skegness and then the season ahead, are you setting yourself any targets now, or is it just get used to the car? What's your thoughts?
Not really. My target for the whole season was I wanted to be in the World Final. I've not been in the World Final yet, but I have been in the shootout, which I thought was a bit of a backwards thing. I really want to be in the World Final. I quite like Northampton. I do all right in Northampton. I've done all right at Mildenhall this year, but we've lost the shale engine at Mildenhall. We've got a bit of engine damage, so obviously we've got to wait for parts and things like that, and actually just work out where we're going to be and when I'm back racing on shale. Yeah. The other option was to take the engine out of this, but I've spent like over a year and a half building it now, and I didn't have the heart to pull the engine out of it before I finished it. So at the minute, it's going to be tarmac. Just work on this car, try and get it working as good as the old one was. I mean, I'm not naive about it. I know it's not going to come out and be the fastest car there on the day. I don't expect that, but just to be somewhere in a decent position where it's on pace and competitive, I'd be quite happy with that at the end of the season, and maybe get a win in it if I'm lucky.
Yeah. Yeah, you mentioned at the beginning sort of about time, and certainly when you're in the shootout and time spent on the cars. It's absolutely rubbish that you've kind of got engine issues, but it gives you advantages then to. I am going to focus just on the tarmac car, and that can have my sole attention. And there's not as many tarmac meetings, so actually it might work out for the better in the short term. I don't know.
Yeah, hopefully I don't have as much time, and I'll be able to the engine back. I'd like to be back out for the European. Ideally, that's something I don't really want to miss. Whether I have to swap an engine for that or something like that. Yeah, I'd like to just spend a bit of time on it, get it working, and have something to do with it. I mean, I can't knock the car at the moment. It's got all the best bits I could put on it, so hopefully it's all right. It's just whether I've got them all working together. It's all right, great having great bits, but if they don't work together, then there's no point having them.
Yeah, but I suppose that's the advantage of taking it testing at Skegness before you go, because you can potentially iron out some of those niggly things.
Yeah. Hopefully it's good straight away, because I don't have the heart to cut it in half and stop and restart with it. I don't think I could do that.
No. So if I see you Saturday, you're looking very glum. I'll go, oh, right, okay, it's not gone well.
Yeah, no, I get a little bit stressy at racing sometimes, but if it's not going very well, I wouldn't bother coming around.
Then before we go, it would be remiss if we didn't mention your dad, the inimitable Mark Sargent. I know he's an avid viewer of all the videos that we do. I'm assuming he's been sort of there or thereabouts, kind of helping with this as well, in the background.
Yeah, I think he'll tell you he's done a lot. He's done a bit. He's been there when I've needed a second opinion, just someone's thought on what they think of it, and rather than just all what I think. He's pointed out a few things that he said, oh, I would do it that way and I would do it this way, and I've ignored him. But no, he's also pointed out, he's been quite helpful, really. He's obviously been around for like 30 odd years. He knows a few things. He doesn't know everything. I'm not going to give him the credit of knowing everything. But no, he's been really good, to be fair. He's been quite helpful for me, just having another pair of eyes and someone else's opinion. Because he can obviously see things from the outside of the car where I'm sat in it. But no, I wouldn't have been able to do it without him. So obviously I've got to say thanks to Dad for that. Good.
He'll be pleased that you said thank you.
yeah, he would never let me forget it if I wouldn't say thank you. But no, I'm definitely grateful for what he's done with me for this car. So I wouldn't be able to race without him, full stop. So I've got to say thank you to him, really, haven't I?
Good. Finn, it's been lovely talking to you. Thank you for talking us through this new car build. Before we go, is there anything that you would like to add before you kind of go off testing?
Not a great deal, really. Just thank you to everybody who's had any sort of input in it. There's a massive list of names. I don't want to name drop everybody because I'd miss somebody out, but mainly just thank you to all my mates who have given me a hand with it. Thank you to Emily for putting up with me not being able to do anything other than the new car. But no, just everybody who's been involved in it in any way. I'm definitely grateful for what everybody's done for me.
Brilliant. You have to take her out for lots of dinners now that it's done.
Yeah. We've got the bank holiday after Skegness, so I've said that I'm not even unloading it. I'm just going to go and ignore stock cars for a day because I've been absolutely obsessed with it since I've started with it. Like I'd be I'd be waking up in the middle of the night and she'd be like, "Oh, you're thinking about that car again, aren't you?" And I'm like, "Yeah."
It's a healthy relationship you've got.
Yeah. She's like, "You're definitely thinking about a stock car." I'm like, "Yeah, I can't get it out of my head at the minute."
Brilliant. Finn, it's been lovely talking to you. Good luck with the testing this week, like I say, and I'll see you at Skegness on Saturday night.
I'll see you there. Thank you.
Thank you.